and welcome to my channel. I'm Michelle, and today you might be wondering why the heck is she laying down for the video? Because today I want to talk to you about vestibular migraines. Vestibular migraines. They're a form of migraine, and if you get migraines, there's so many different kinds of them. You know that. I am a chronic migrainer, which means chronic. More than 15 days out of the month, I have a migraine. I have hemiplegic migraines, cluster headaches, occipital neuralgia, ocular migraines, vestibular migraines, migraines with auras, migraines without auras, stomach migraines. I guess the list can go on and on and on, but today I want to talk to you about vestibular migraines. Let's explore a little bit more about why I'm laying on the floor. Before we start diving in, I wanted to let you know I am not a medical professional. I am merely a patient who has suffered with a lot of migraines. So what I say comes from my experience. I try my best to read up and research about any of the disabilities that I am presented with. And I've done a lot of looking into vestibular migraines and vertigo. And so if I present to you a fact that sounds a little off, excuse me, please go check it, go research it. I may be fiddling up or muddling up the facts that I have gained in my head. I do not go off a script when I create my videos. I try to go off of the personal impact it has made in my life. And with vestibular migraines, it is part of your central nervous system's balance. So what really happens is you're laying in bed going perfectly fine about your sleep all night long, and you roll over or you decide to sit up and go use the restroom, up for the day. And all of a sudden your sense of balance is off, way off. Kind of like you've been on a boat all day long, blah, blah. And if you've ever been seasick, overly drunk, or had a high fever, high flu, and you just not there, and if you've never had any of those things, I want to shake your hand and say, what did you do to make it so that you never have experienced those things? But we know we're given the roll of the dice, and this is what I have been given, so I'm going to tell you what I've learned. Vestibular migraine, for me, I notice it the moment I sit up at the edge of my bed. And you're laying horizontal, you sit up, and all of a sudden, the whole world goes and it's moving, and you are no longer, you can't find your center of balance, you can't tell what's north, what's south, you can't figure out the plane around you. And so when I have those situations, the only thing that'll stop everything from moving is to lay back down and be completely horizontal, which you saw me at the start of the video. Horizontal seems to level everything out that's in the balance of the inner ear. We do know that the inner ear is where the balancing mechanisms of your body come in, but a lot plays into that. So if you have balance issues, it could be coming from your ear. If your balance is off, that does not necessarily mean you're having a vestibular migraine. It does not necessarily mean you're having vertigo. But if it goes on and lasts hours, days, weeks, comes and goes and comes back again, I would really highly suggest you go in and see your specialist, your neurologist if you have one. If not, start with your general practitioner. But please make notes for yourself so you can know when you had this episode last. Sometimes they come. And for me, it comes about 4 days in a row when I'm highly stressed or my body has been under a lot of stress. Example, the last time I had a minor procedure in the hospital, I went under anesthesia. I did not come out of anesthesia well. They thought I was having a stroke, and they rushed me in an ambulance to the hospital, did all the protocol to make sure I wasn't having a stroke. I was having a hemiplegic migraine where I lost use of my left side and my ability to speak. Prior to that, I had never gone fully into a hemiplegic migraine. So because it was the first time for me, they wanted to rule out that it wasn't a stroke. But coming home from that, resting, regrouping after all of that trauma, your body still is fighting the drama and the trauma it went underneath with. And for me, that's when vestibular migraines kick in. My central nervous system is overloaded, it's had all it can handle, and it starts to get out of whack. And then I had 5 days of vestibular migraines. By the 5th day, I was coming out of them and only having 30-minute episodes throughout the day, and then by the 6th day, they were gone. But the first 2 days, I was completely, all day long, feeling horrible. Couldn't move, couldn't stand up. In fact, I want to show you what it physically looks like if I have a bad attack of vestibular migraines. Now, please know I'm reenacting it right now, but it is 100% true for me. This is how it happens. I'm laying down on the couch and I go to get up, or I'm laying in bed and the world just spins like this. All of a sudden, it's like I'm moving, it's moving. I cannot find a center of balance. And instantly, the moment I am in an upright vertical position, my stomach is ready to throw up and it's nauseated. So I lay back down. But the nausea can get so bad you do want to vomit. And so you have to do one of two things: have a bucket ready or get to a place where it's safe enough for you to go and do that. So that's where handy dandy Kane, Mr. Kane, comes in. I have to literally hold on to my cane. I don't know if you can see me. Hold on to my cane like this and walk. It's got a quad bottom, and I scoot myself on my butt and knees to the nearest bathroom or sink so that I can vomit. And literally, if I try to get up on my knees or this vertical, I would lose it right there. So I'm scooting on the floor like an inchworm to the place where I can let loose. The equilibrium, the balance, it's bombarding. It's almost to the point of passing out. If you've ever seen the stars and the tweet, 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 and your hearing goes down into like a tunnel and you're like, I'm going down, folks, I'm going down. That is like that the whole time. My head is vertically upright. And so I obviously, after I can make it to a place where I can vomit, I will need to take my medicines. And I have anti-nausea pills. I have muscle relaxants that will put me into a state of relax, and that helps my nervous system calm down. And I take my migraine pills. And I get my big ice packs and I put them all around me, even though at the time I'm having the worst vestibular migraine vertigo sessions where the stomach is spinning and the head is spinning. At that moment, me personally, my head is not pounding. That comes after for me. But I get the ice packs ready, I put them behind my neck and behind my ears in hopes that the sensation of ice cold will take my mind off the sensation of wanting to throw up again. So I lay down again, I huddle in a ball on my bed or the couch. The last time that I had this episode, my mama had to come over. I called her and said, Mama, I feel really bad. My husband was out of state on a trip, and she asked what was wrong, and I tried my best to describe to her. She said, I'll come over. But she was ready to take me to the ER room because it had been the worst episode that I had ever experienced. And it is a weird thing. It's scary, and you think, am I having a stroke? Is there something wrong internally in my brain, or is it just that my nerve wiped out with the experience of the surgery, the anesthesia, the hemiplegic migraine, and then all of this? So we waited it out because I know how expensive insurance is when you go to the emergency room, and I know my body well enough to know what should I do? Wait it and see if the medicines help. And for me, the medicines did help. It knocks it down to the point where I'm like, oh, it's gonna be okay. I think we passed the worst, it'll be okay. But please, if you are experiencing this for the first time, know where your emergency people are. Know if you need to call them, have them on standby. Know if you need to go to the ER, that you would call the emergency lines and have them take you. I don't think anyone ever said, gee, I wish I hadn't made it to the ER, today because they diagnosed me with a stroke. I don't think it ever goes that way. So if you get there and they say you don't have a stroke, that's awesome. One of the things that happens for me when I'm in the vestibular migraine is I cannot handle sounds and lights, and everything is so intense, and my mom was there to help me, and I just had to put my big Bose surround sound, block out all the sounds, just the sound of the clock, the sound of the dog's feet tick, 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 on the tile, and the lights. Make it dark, Mama, make it dark, is what I kept saying. It is really hard. It is very frustrating, and it does pass, but you don't know if it'll pass in an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, a day, a week. But if it goes on and on past your comfort zone, please, please check it out with your doctor. What my neurologist shared with me that I will share with you, when you are a chronic migrainer, you are like a cup of tea. You are filled to the brim, and you are at the threshold all the time. All it takes is a couple more drips to spill over. And you get the stresses from life. You get the outside stress. You get, and I say stress because it's just one word to describe pressure on my central nervous system. The number one stressor for me will be the weather. I can't control the weather, but when the barometric pressure drops, I feel it. I feel it in my head. I feel it. So that cup of tea all of a sudden has weather elements dropping in on it. And then there's stress like fluorescent lighting. That's my number one trigger. That's a non-weather related one. It's a physical element that I can avoid, but a lot of places in life have fluorescent lights. So what you gonna do? The other thing for me that will be a stressor is actual physical stress. When I have to pay the bills, balance the checkbook, keep the numbers, just calculating numbers, that is a stressfulness on me. And my husband and I have talked about it many times. Every month when I calculate our spreadsheets, I get a migraine. But it's not a bad stress. It's not like I'm going, there's not enough money to pay the bills kind of stress. It's not that. It's that I am having to use a part of my brain that doesn't get used as often as it should to calculate numbers. And I don't know if numbers you calculate on left side or right side of your brain, but whatever side it is, it really taxes my brain. Talking and writing and making these videos, they don't tax my brain. But typing, staring at the screen, the visual light coming back at me, trying to squint, focus, that kind of stuff, it will tax me. And so those are stresses that get piled into this cup of tea. Another stress would be lack of hydration. I forget to drink enough water, and all of a sudden, boom, I am just flipped right over the edge with that cup of tea. And There's so many little things like that. You forget to eat or you don't eat in time. I love to eat, so I never really forget to eat. I just don't eat it in the time that my body needs food. So many stressors that go into our nervous system that we don't even think about many times. The sounds that you hear, the lights that you see, whether they're indoor, outdoor. When I go on a car ride at high noon and the sun is right there in my eyes, instant migraine. I have to learn when is a good time and a bad time, when to play the odds, when to risk it, when to roll the dice and go, I have to go to the doctor's, I have to go for my checkup, or I need to go to the grocery store, but I have to weigh the odds. I'm constantly weighing. I love you, Mama, and you know I love to come and visit you and play with you and hang out, but sometimes that will tip me over too, because the stimulation, the excitement, the change of pitch in conversations, because at home, as a stay-at-home chronic ill person, it's just me and my husband chatting, or me and you chatting. So the dialogues of people's conversations, how they change, how they go up and down, the loudness, the laughters, the happiness, are all stressors to my body, unfortunately. So with vestibular migraines, to wind it all up, I'll say this, that please see your neurologist, see your general practitioner, see your audiologist, and make sure it's not a hearing related issue or an inner ear issue. If you think you are having vertigo, research it some more. There are some great websites out there that discuss vestibular migraine versus inner ear balance migraines. And because I am a chronic migrainer, it's not even considered that it wouldn't be vestibular migraines. The years prior to migraines manifesting with pain, back in my 30s and my 40s, I kept going to the hearing doctor saying I can't hear very well and my balance is off. And he kept checking it year after year saying, your hearing is fine. You don't have a wax buildup. Your balance is fine. I don't see anything wrong. It was a form of migraine that just hadn't manifested with pain in the brain. That started about 7 years ago. Yay, me! But hey, I'm gonna roll with it. This is the life I've been given. I do the best that I can. I try to find the joy, try to find the beauty. And when the boats are rocking and the vestibular system is completely shot, I hand to books on tape and just stay flat until it passes and take my medicines. If you have any questions, I would love to chat with you or hear your story down below in the comments. Please share them with me. I love to dialogue with my subscribers. This is it. So if you want to chat, down below would be the best place for that. I thank you for your time today. I have other videos in my series so far on migraines. I've done one on cluster headaches, and I've done one on hemiplegic migraine, maybe two on hemiplegic migraines. And coming up soon will be ocular migraines. So I thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. And until we talk again, have a good one.